Hello, I'm Stan Farmer. I'm the Director of International Financial Planning here with the Expat team at Walkner Condon. And we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of exciting tax programs that have hit Europe in response to the overwhelming success of Portugal's non-habitual residence program. Okay, so if you're a fan of our YouTube channel or our podcasts, you've probably come across several videos that I've done and a webinar that the team did specifically on Portugal. This has been in response to overwhelming demand from people contacting us and working with us and moving over to Portugal, whether they be digital nomads still working, self-employed, or retirees. Portugal has been hot, okay? And Portugal's been so hot the last few years that, and so many people have been, Americans in particular, have been buying, some of the higher end real estate there. That, not surprisingly, one of the factors that made Portugal attractive in the first place, affordability, eventually comes into question as so many people have migrated there, and so many, high net worth individuals have made their way there. And not necessarily even high net, but retirees with a decent-sized nest egg buying properties there. So in response to Portugal's success, and it has been, as I said, overwhelming, Italy and Greece, two of the other, shall we say, more revenue-starved and economically challenged countries in Southern Europe, have said, hey, if Portugal can do this, why can't we? All right, so I'm going to, I've written an article that covers the highlights of both of these programs and compares them against each other and to Portugal. That's kind of beyond the scope of this video, which is just to kind of whet one's appetite, go and look at the article and learn more, or call us if you're interested in possibly moving to one of these three countries, and we can discuss the program with you and also your financial situation. But right now I'm just going to point out kind of 5 things to know about these newer Italian and Greek expat tax incentives. First of all, both of these new programs have special incentives directed particularly for people who are coming to work in the country. Okay, these are both people that have been hired by local companies or a foreign company with a permanent establishment in Italy or Greece, but it's also specifically targeted towards those digital nomads, right? As mobility in the workforce has risen so much, and there's so many people now who are doing consulting and other services from, and they can do it from anywhere in the world. Much like what we do here, working with clients who are anywhere in the world. So we're pretty much, communicating remotely. This has been a huge area where lots of countries have tried to attract these people. Both of these countries' programs offer huge reductions in the income tax on earned income. So again, this is a tax program aimed at those who will actually be earning in Italy or earning in Greece. Second, then, there's a separate program, if you will, that has special incentives aimed specifically towards what we would call the ultra-high net worth expat. Specifically, an ultra-high net worth person whose offshore investment income is considerable. I mean, potentially huge, right? Because these incentives essentially create a fixed amount of tax that you can pay each year, and Italy or Greece won't ask about your offshore income, right? So you have to have the flat tax or the fixed tax rate, if you will, is 100,000 euros, okay, per year. If you want to bring another family member in with you, like your spouse, it's 120,000 euros per year. And then you don't have to report your offshore income. So as you can imagine, even with like a 44% tax rate, that would require you to earn, a pretty huge offshore income before this would become attractive. So they're looking for a certain special expat there, right? There are different requirements to be eligible in each country. The article discusses those. Don't have time to discuss the differences today, but just understand that if you have huge stateside income or income that's generated anywhere else from an investment portfolio or otherwise, you might have a partnership. You might be a partner in a U.S.-based law firm or something like that. This might be the program for you. Okay. Finally, in terms of the incentives and segregating them into groups, both have special incentives aimed specifically at retirees with pensions. And by pensions, that would include not just your 401k or your 403b, but also your IRA. Okay, so there's a pensioners program in each of Italy and Greece. Both of those countries have elected, instead of saying, well, we won't tax them, which Portugal started their NHR doing, and then shifted towards, well, you know what, we're going to have to tax you something. The EU's kind of told us we need to derive some revenue off of your pensions. So it's going to be 10%. Greece and Italy instead have said, okay, we're going to flat tax that at 7%. This brings me to my fourth important thing to know. This is where the two programs are quite a bit different. Okay, Italy has decided that it wants these retired people to live a life in the southern zones of Italy only, and they want you to live a life of tranquility, because they are only offering these incentives if you agree to move into the southern zones of the country, and in a municipality that has less than, I think it's 20 or 25,000 people, right? Really low population zones. So think remote areas of Sicily, or the southern boot, right? With this, you can't be in a suburb of Rome. Okay, that's not going to work. Even if it's a small suburb, it has to be. You have to be out of the population zones. You have to be in the rural zones. Okay, and they want you to kind of make an investment and buy a house and live there, and then you're only going to pay a flat tax of 7% on your pension, and that's going to be good for 10 years, like Portugal. Greece, on the other hand, their program, the fifth thing to know, and the final thing that we're going to talk about, is that the Greek program for pensioners is much more open and simple, right? They set the cap. They set the same tax incentive is a flat tax of 7% on your offshore income, okay? So that's level with Italy's. However, there's no geographic or demographic restrictions to where you stay in Greece once you become a resident. Okay, so obviously, and the Greek program is also superior. I should add, because this is important. Unlike Portugal and Italy, which offer pensioners a 10-year program, the Greek program lasts for 15 years. Okay, so people who are wanting to go somewhere and stay for the duration of their retirement, might look to Greece, more favorably that way, because the extra 5 years could add real tax value. So, that's a little bit of information about these new programs in Greece and Italy, two wonderful countries in Southern Europe that are prepared to do tax battle with Portugal. Of course, the decision on which of these countries is right for you is a very personal decision and should be based not just upon, the tax incentives that are being thrown at you, but, your personal preferences for the culture, the architecture, the weather, or the just general your impressions of each of these countries and what they have to offer after maybe visiting and taking a little vacay, doing your own due diligence. But obviously there's going to be different immigration factors and and the costs of getting through the process and the time involved in getting the visas and all of those things. Okay, we're here to help our clients and the expat community in general become aware of special tax rules and the way that your money should be invested, given your country of residence and given the fact that you're a tax resident of the United States as well. That's what we do here. If you're interested in learning more about what we do with our clients, or you have questions specific to retirement abroad, be it in one of the 3 countries that I was talking about today or elsewhere, we're here to help. So you can reach us on our website and make an appointment to speak with me or one of my 2 colleagues, Keith or Sil, at usexpatinvesting.com. Thank you. Have a good day.